everyone can hear me, we want to welcome you on to our live stream. And I'm really excited about connecting today. 100% excited. I know you all excited. Listen, we want to get right in. I want to welcome you to the first annual 2023 Human Traffic Seminar. And I'm telling y'all something, this is just really the beginning of this year. We really plan on really launching these seminars. So before I get started, I'm going to ask you all to make sure you get in touch with all your friends. It's not even too late. Go ahead and send them that link and tell them to join really quickly. You know, we're all about saving lives. So if you really love your friends today, listen, I want you to click on, send that link out to them and tell them to join you today, because we're all about saving lives. So I'm not going to at all be in your way today. We want to educate. We want to inform you today. Hello there, big sister Keisha. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Absolutely amazing. So I'm going to get on out the way. I just want to love on them a little bit, just to tell them how excited I am to have them here. I feel like I'm in a classroom. I feel like I want to start teaching, but you know, this ain't my platform today. So I'm going to get on out the way and allow you to do what you came to do on the day. But nevertheless, God bless you all. And we're so super excited. And listen, get your paper, get your pen out, get your hand device, take notes, because I'm telling you all, your life is going to change after today. So God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. McNair. Thank you. And I just have to give credit back to her, because it's for her. God gave her the vision to start this absolutely phenomenal organization, as well as mentoring program, as well as just spearheading, you know, me being able to come out and interact and educate the youth, because that is what we need, and that's what we believe as adults in the community. It's our responsibility to educate our youth, and you know, from the dangers. If we can educate you all become empowered to make the best decisions when you are faced with a situation. So with that being said, I am going to start the presentation. Make sure you take notes. It's a lot of great information, and we can have a conversation about the different things that we discuss on this presentation. Sisters Empowering Sisters Girl Talk. Again, we are presenting 2023, our breakout Happy New Year seminar, Human Trafficking Seminar. I am Big Sister Key. So when y'all see me and you want to ask me a question, just go ahead, ask the question. Don't be scared, don't be shy, because again, the purpose of this is to educate you. If I can give you some information to save your life, please believe that is what I want to do. So who am I? Makisha Cook, Big Sister Key. Listen, I'm a follower and a lover of Jesus Christ. I'm a director of the Youth Safety program at Sisters Empowering Sisters. I'm a speaker, mentor, entrepreneur, Forex, crypto trader. You all, I do it all. Investor, and I am a retired police officer, as well as a police academy advisor and criminal detective. 17 and a half years at the good old Broward Sheriff's Office. So the lesson today, what I want to cover and make sure you all understand, at the end of this lesson, you will understand what human trafficking is and how to recognize the characteristics of the grooming process of traffickers. Listen, you all, it's happening all over the world, and so many different ages are being impacted by different situations. So it's vitally important that we get this information out to you all as soon as possible. So you will also learn to identify at-risk choices versus safer choices. I love to say you are your first line of defense. What kind of choices are you making? Because it matters. You can make one choice, you all, that can take your life, that can change your life. So that's why I'm so passionate about moving forward and educating you all and giving you all this information, because again, we are not with you 24 hours a day, and you're going to encounter so many situations, and we need you to be able to tap into that gear that safety gear that you have learned, from Sisters Empowering Sisters Girl Talk, and say, you know what, I learned what I can do in this situation. And that's what we want to do. We want to arm you all with information that can literally save your life, not only your life, but those that are connected to you. So what is human trafficking? It's an action or practice of illegally transporting people from one country or area to another, typically for the purposes of forced labor or sexually exploitation. It involves the practice of forcing another person in compelled service, forcing that person to do something that they don't want to do. And that can be, that can lead into doing things with their body sexually, forcing them to do things with people sexually that they do not want to do, holding them against their will, right? We can call that kidnapping, coercion. We call that threats of physical harm. What does that look like? If I threaten to kill you, threaten to punch you, threaten to harm you, psychological manipulation, right? I'm in your head. I'm telling you all of these different things that are not true, but they are making you so fearful to leave me. They're making you fearful to walk away. That's a part of psychological manipulation. Document confiscation. I take your identification card, your ID card, your money. That's the only way that you can get back home. I catch an Uber. I snatch your cell phone. I don't give you access to these things. You all, that's a form of confiscation. I take that stuff from you. Shame and fear-inducing threats to share your photos. Well, we know that this is the technological age. And we know in this age, so many kids are sending new photos through through your cell phones and different things like that, or accepting new photos. So that person could manipulate you into sending these items to them. And then they use these items against you and say, look, I have a new photo of you and I'm going to show it to everybody. I'm going to put it on social media. And that's a form of shaming you into staying with them. The three most common types of human trafficking is sex trafficking, forced labor, and debt bondage. But we're going to discuss heavily sex trafficking because Florida is the third state in the nation, you all, with sex trafficking cases. It's happening right here. It's happening every single day, all around the nation, different situations. So the thing that I want to do today with you all is to make sure that you have this information in front of you and you understand everything that I am explaining to you all. What is the most common form of human trafficking? We discussed it. It's sex trafficking, right? Let's describe some characteristics of sex trafficking potential victims. I'm talking about people who are not in sex trafficking, but I'm talking about people who can become potential victims because of their behavior, because of different things that they participate in. It heightens, it makes their chances of being involved in sex trafficking higher. So let's talk about the first one. Innocent, unaware of surroundings. That person is naive. We know that a lot of children, because their minds haven't matured, so they can become naive, not knowing, unknowing when they receive little cues of danger. They may walk blindly into it. Some of them end up being kidnapped because they're unaware. They just don't know what they don't know. We also have low self-esteem, kids that walk around and, they have low self-esteem also is a target. Being abused or neglected. If you live in homes and you experience abuse and neglect, that's another, sign of someone who could end up being a potential victim. Living in poverty, runaways. We know that there are a lot of situations that go on inside of the homes that cause a lot of kids to run away. And that can be sexual abuse, that can be physical abuse, that could be mental abuse, or it can just be that child does not want to obey the rules, so they run away. Homelessness. We know that some teenagers are homelessness. Some kids are homelessness. Endure homelessness, as well as some young adults. Also, some kids who are in the foster care system, right? They go through different issues, psychological issues of being, left for anyone, and they feel like no one loves them. So that's another issue, or a potential victim. They come from the foster care system, or using drugs and alcohol. We know that when you use drugs and alcohol, you are not yourself. When you use drugs and alcohol, it removes, it opens you up, and you're not able to rationalize and reason in your right mind when you approach certain situations or people, and it lowers your guard. That's why using drugs and alcohol is very risky when you are out and about in the public in these different things, because it lowers your safety guard, you all. Peer pressure and bad influences. Who are you hanging around? I've seen so many situations of kids walking into really bad situations because they followed a friend in that situation, knowing that it wasn't a good situation to follow that particular friend in, and they end up either getting hurt, getting raped, or losing their lives. So men and women looking for better employment in other countries, they're also potential victims, because of the fact that they are looking for something and are in need of something, and people take advantage of that, you all. Are you aware of your surroundings? It attacks any age. It does not matter if you are elementary, middle, high school, college. Are you aware of your surroundings?
It's just shocking, because if I didn't do nothing, if I didn't run or anything, he probably would have got out the car and probably grabbed me.
This sixth grader, who doesn't want to be identified, says she was walking home from Freedom Middle School Thursday afternoon when she noticed a man in a black car.
He's like old looking, and he has a camera in his hand, and he's smiling at me and telling, like, with his finger telling me to come here.
The girl says she immediately felt uncomfortable, so she started running.
I run, and he's still following me. And when he's still following me, I'm like about over there, and then I'm running, crying, and screaming, help me, so someone could like come and stuff.
Part of it was caught on surveillance video from the apartment complex the girl lives in. In the video, you see her running to the gate and a black car pulling in right behind her.
I could sense my daughter was scared by the way she was running. I've never seen her run like that before.
The girl's mom says she truly believes the man in the car wanted to take her daughter.
It's a parent's worst nightmare to see something like that, and to know that there's people out there watching children like that to try to take them or do whatever they want to do with them.
The family says they filed a police report and now just want to warn parents in the area.
Talk to your kids. Let them know stuff like this can happen. You may not think it can or will, but it does happen.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office says it is investigating this incident. In Orange County, Kelsey Thorett, WESH 2 News.
Now, we don't know if his intent was to kidnap her. We don't know if his intent, was to take her and get her involved in human trafficking, ship her into another state, another country. We don't know that. But the point of that video is to show you all how at her age, at a young age, she was aware of the danger. She didn't have her phone in her face, walking home from school like this, not paying attention with her head down, but she had her head up. She was vigilant. She was looking around. Is anyone following me? She's walking home from school, a walk that she had probably taken so many times. But what was so impressive about her, you all, is that she was able to instantly notice something out of the ordinary, something strange, something that did not feel right. And that led her to run and scream, yell at the top of her lungs and scream for help. And these are the things that we want to teach you all and put before you so you can be safe and vigilant. Remember, her mom wasn't with her, right? She was walking alone, home from school alone. Her mom was not there. So at that point, she is her first line of defense. It is her responsibility to be able to pull out some safety techniques to survive, to get away from that threat. So what are some of the warning signs of human trafficking victims, right? Let's just say you're hanging out with someone and they end up connecting with someone else. and it's the three of you now. These are some of the signs, or in school, these are some of the signs that you may see that someone just may be a part of human trafficking or a victim of human trafficking. Appearing malnourished, looking at them, their skin and their, body is all thin and they look hungry, don't look like they've been kept up really well, showing signs of physical injuries and abuse, right? Not being able to explain different markings on their bodies, avoiding eye contact, social interaction, right? They no longer want to hang out. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to go around law enforcement. They are in fear, seeming to adhere to scripted or rehearsed responses, meaning if I'm one of the people who have you captive, I tell you exactly what I want you to know. I tell you exactly what you can speak and say to someone. I have complete control over you. Lacking official identification and documents. Remember, I take all of your documents. I take your driver's license. I take your money. You are completely under my control. Appearing destitute, lacking personal possessions. For someone who is hanging around y'all at your age and they never really have those possessions, maybe it be someone in school, but these are certain signs that you can look out for to say, hey, this might just be connected to human trafficking. What is grooming? To prepare or train someone for a particular purpose or activity. Right now, you all, grooming is going on right here in Broward County, right here in Florida, right now on social media. Grooming is taking place all day, 24 hours a day, all over the world, you all. What is grooming? That is someone connecting to you, making contact with you, majority of the time, through social media to groom you, to prepare you for a certain event that they plan to, have you or take you, or something of that magnitude. So what are the stages of grooming? How does grooming look? If I'm 15 years old and I'm connecting with someone on social media, I'm 20 years old, I'm connecting with this new person on social media. I'm 10 years old, I'm connecting with this person on social media. I don't know them. I only see their pictures on the computer. I only see what they type to me, the messages, but I have drawn close to this individual because I have let my guard down. My safety guard is no longer in place, and you have no idea that grooming is taking place. So they target a victim, they gain your trust, and they get your information. If I want to groom you, I see you posting all this stuff on Snapchat, social media, TikTok. I see you posting your bedroom. I see you posting, pictures of you in your bra or pictures of you with your shirt off. I'm paying attention to you. I'm like, oh, I'm getting ready to get you. This is how groomers think, right? They are stalkers. They are people who are coming after innocent children, innocent young adults who, again, may be naive and just not know this information that we're sharing with you today. So they can't identify if they're being groomed or not, right? So they begin to feel a need. What does that look like? You're on social media sharing all of your feelings with the world, unknowing to you that there's someone out there watching you, waiting to groom you, to either get you to meet up with them in person, or they will come, or you can fly out to them. We've seen so many situations of children leaving their homes in the middle of the night, going to meet up with strangers, sneaking out, leaving school, because this person has groomed them over a period of 2, 3, 4, 5 months, a year, you all, unknowing to their parents, unknowing to their loved ones, and now they have disappeared. So this is what grooming does. It fills a need. You're depressed or you're looking for someone to show you attention. Social media is always flashing relationships in your face. You want a boyfriend, you want a girlfriend, you want to feel love. Guess what? The groomers know that, you all, because they are documenting every piece of information that you put out there for them to document. Isolation. Once they get you, you're no longer going around your family and friends. And most of the time, this is for the older teenagers, young adults, 21, 22, 23. It can happen to adults who are older, but the grooming process includes isolation. You're no longer the same person. You're no longer hanging around your family members or friends, those people or the family members or friends in your life who were actually pushing you and encouraging you to do greatness. Now you're isolated. Why do they isolate you? Because they want to be the only voice in your head. So that's when the abuse begins, because you have let down your guard and now you trust them. So it's an open door for abuse at this moment. Once they start abusing you, they maintain control over you. And now you're at a point where you say, I can't leave him. I can't leave her. You know, you're not picking up your cell phone. You're not talking to anyone. So this can be a sign of the manipulation that we talked about that goes on when someone is in your head, in your mind, and your behavior completely changes. So these are the signs that you all have to be aware of, because once you're at the point where you're being groomed, nothing but God, the favor of God can save you at that point. Because at that time, you're open to do whatever they want you to do. If they tell you to leave your house, come meet with me, that's what you're going to do, because they have groomed you over a certain period of time. Beginning stages of grooming.
I didn't think it was as dangerous as it was. I really was naive to the fact that my daughter was being deceived, so to speak, by many people. I just thought of, dangers were kids in the neighborhood, not someone on the internet. How's that going to affect our children? They're here with us. I didn't realize that it's very easy to be talked into things as a child. And I didn't know that there was people out there doing that.
Me and my sister received a tablet, both of us, for Christmas one year. And I had met someone through one of my friends on Instagram, and we began talking, just like casual conversations for a while. And he decided to ask me for some inappropriate pictures, which I was 12 at the time, so I didn't really understand that aspect of it, but I ended up sending him some pictures.
The way my daughter Haley was acting was the first clue that something was up. She got quiet. She was more secretive. We caught her up late all the time. We kind of had a no tablet in your room rule, and she would sneak it, or we would find it in the morning in her room, or we would find her on her sister's because we grounded her from hers. I mean, there was definitely like she needed to have her tablet, and that was just kind of odd.
My dad was like, okay, something's definitely off. And he would go through my tablet on a regular basis, but I was being so secretive to the point that I would delete messages that were on there so he couldn't tell what we were talking about. And then didn't realize that pictures get backed up to like an SD card on your tablet once you delete them out of a conversation. So he found it that way.
Haley had expressed to her sister that she had this boyfriend named Bruce, and her younger sister came to us and said, hey, Haley has a boyfriend, his name is Bruce. And that's where I think it all started.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, she's 12.
That's right.
He has a boyfriend?
And
who is this Bruce?
My instant reaction to that was Bruce. I was like, no one names their children Bruce these days. Well, I was like, is Bruce a man? So that's when I started digging deeper, and it just carried on. There were certain individuals following Bruce with fake accounts. They had fake screenshotted pictures for their profile picture, and you could just tell they were fake. I mean, they just looked wrong. And all the pictures on their page were like screenshotted furniture. So then I would go to the next guy, and he had almost the exact same layout pictures, but a different name, different face. So I'm like, how does this person know this person? And why are they sending my daughter messages? How are you? Do you want to talk? I copy and pasted their email address and started looking in Google, trying to figure out who these people were. You know, I emailed them. I didn't get any response, of course. Actually, 2 of them, I got mailer errors saying that the account was closed. And so that's when I was like, okay, this is really suspicious. These people are multiple fake accounts and they're trying to talk to my daughter through this kid that is asking for nudes. And that's when we decided to maybe take it to the police because it got a little out of our hands. We could only do so much.
This operation is for the good of the cause. That means that it's way bigger than us. This team has arrested 81 pedophiles. And if you look at national algorithms, that translates into over 2,000 victims that have been future saved by holding somebody accountable. This is an example of today's world's a lot different than it was 20 years ago. A lot of the interaction, the majority of it is all online. And remember that if I am out pursuing a asset, I'm going to go to where the assets are being displayed. I'm not going to go where nobody is. I'm not going to go stand in the corner at a mall because that's just too creepy, right? But I'm going to be online. I'm going to follow people. These predators have a community. And many of them are social apps, dating apps, but there's always that deviant side that people want to go deeper into this rabbit hole. And that's where we go. We go to Skip the Game, City X Games. There's always new ones coming all the time, but they'll start a communication. Then they ask for pictures. They want to see proof of life. And then they take the next step. He says, hey, send me a picture of your chest. And it just continues to break it down. Send me a picture of your genitals. As soon as that happens, boom, now we're going to take it to the next level called sextortion. And now, if you don't do what I want you to do, if you don't send this, I'm going to tell your mother, I'm going to tell your father, I'm going to tell your friends. So what happens is this kid keeps sending them, or this kid sometimes even takes their own life. That's how it happens. It always starts slow.
It seemed like we were dating, but a long distance relationship, obviously. So I was like, okay, well, I guess we're in a relationship, so this is okay. Me and him were planning to meet up at one point. He lived in California, and I'm glad that didn't end up happening because I probably wouldn't be here.
They did track Bruce down to Anaheim, California, and they tracked the other members of his circle, so to speak, to Anaheim also, but they could never locate a real person because they were always using free Wi-Fi.
It was scary. It was really scary to think that that happens here at home.
I think we're both very loving parents, and we've always tried to care for our kids first, and we fall short of the feeling that social media can give children. Even the best of best parents can't compete with what they're allowing their children to view and send and see on the internet.
And that's a great video. So I want you all to think about that. Had her parents not been in the way, to dig into her information, you all, she probably would have lost her life. I mean, she could have lost her life, right? We don't know what could have happened to her. But what we do know from that story is that someone was speaking to her, someone much older, who was trying to get her to show her body and all of these different things that eventually lead to her leaving her home without her parents knowing and walking to what could be her last day living, you all. So I know it sounds like parents can get on your last nerve. Sometimes you have to understand that if you have parents who are looking out for your best interest, they're digging into your information, they're only doing that to be that safety net that you need, because right now, your brain hasn't fully developed yet. You don't really know much about the world, and you can be naive and think that, hey, these are my friends. This is my boyfriend. He do loves me. He do like me. But if an older, more mature person was able to look at that same situation, they would see it so much differently. So it's about educating you all so you can be in a position to make sure you make the best decision when that stranger reaches out to you on your social media and they start telling you, and I'm almost certain someone on this Zoom has received different messages, solicitations from strangers online to remove your shirt, to send a nude picture. I know this with 100% certainty that it has happened to someone on this Zoom today. If it's happening to elementary kids, elementary students, while they're playing video games online, let me tell you something. If you're on this Zoom today, it has happened to you. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. So can your cell phone be used as a weapon against you? It absolutely can, because again, 24 hours a day, people are lurking for you to let your guard down. Social media apps, cell phones, video games, online, different websites, person-to-person contact. These are things that we need to keep in front of you so you're aware of when that bell goes off and you say, no, that don't look right, that don't sound right. He's telling me to do this, she's telling me to do that. Nope, I'm backing out. What are the warning signs of human trafficking victims in school? A lot of you all are in school, right? Academically, they're unengaged. They, don't care about turning in work. They're failing most of their classes. They perform under their grade level. There's a sudden change. They may have been a straight A student. Remember, the behavior changes, it shifts, right? Because we're talking about that grooming process. That person is no longer the joyful person, loving person that used to just be so excited about life every day. Now you see something different on them, right? They avoid eye contact, right? Gaps in memory, resist being touched. You can see, bruises and things that show up. You may see tattoos of some of the victims. They have tattoos on their lip, in their mouth, behind their ear, on their neck. So they have different tattoos that represent the person who owns them. So you may see these things. They show signs of drug and alcohol abuse addiction. These are middle school kids and some high school kids, and we know some young adults as well. They have low self-esteem. They exhibit depression, anxiety, or fear. They have sudden outbursts of anger. They cannot control their anger. They just appear to be out of control, you all. So these are some of the things that you all need to be aware of, even if you get to a place where you start to act out some of these different things. It's a place of help, right? And we're going to talk about ways to seek help. Social, you don't have much social. You're not talking, to the people you used to talk to who were good for you. You live in an unstable or abusive home, or have a sexual online profile. We know that young girls, me in my career, I've seen young 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, you all, at hotels, with grown men doing these different things, in human trafficking stings that I've been a part of. So these things are real, and it's happening right here in our backyard. Describe risky behavior on social media. How often do you think about your safety? Every one of you all have a cell phone. How often do you think about your safety when you go on your phone? Risky behavior on social media, sharing too much personal information about yourself and your family, right? Remember, there are people out there that want to harm you, hurt you, kidnap you. They're just looking for opportunity. Assuming private means safe because you think something is private. I sent him a private message. This is private. It's just between him and I. It's safe, right? Connecting with the predator. You unknowing, you don't know that that's a predator on the other side of the line, the other side of the phone. Remember, he can represent or she can represent anyone. Trusting a stranger or a friend of a friend, right? I'm hanging out with my friend. We're at her house and she's like, hey, Jerry's coming to pick us up. And I'm like, who is Jerry? No, don't worry about it. We're just going to go meet up with him. He's going to come pick us up. But where are we going? Who is Jerry? Oh, I just met him. I've been talking to him about 3 months on social media. He's really cool. You're going to like him. Now, you don't know him, right? And you have a friend. Sometimes she don't make the best decisions. You're at a point, a railroad, to say, do I need to go or do I need to say, no, I'm going to hang out. I'm going to call my mom. I'm going to jump in my Uber, go about my business. And you know what? Maybe you shouldn't go with Jerry because you don't know who Jerry is. So these are the certain situations I want to put in front of you. So when you are approached or, with these situations, you know how to respond to them, and you can feel your senses are telling you to do something different. Because again, remember, you are your first line of defense. We're not there to help you. Parents are not there 24 hours a day. So what are you going to do? Spending too much time on social media, it becomes your identity. 24 hours a day, you're on social media, right? It has literally taken on a life of its own, and you believe that this is a part of who you are. So now, if you don't have your phone, if you're not on social media a certain amount of time, you start to get depressed because you have put your everything, your very existence into a social media platform, right? Online bullying, we know that that happens as well. Inappropriate behavior, we talked about that. Sending nude photos, receiving nude photos, right? Sharing personal areas in your home and neighborhood where you live. You're showing people a lot of information about you, and that's something you have to be aware of. Sharing your passwords with friends, or with people you meet on social media, right? Giving them access to your phone, your files, right? Now they know where you are. You're connecting your GPS to them, and you don't even know these people, right? So these are different risky behaviors on social media that can hurt you. Risky behavior offline, trusting strangers at the mall, movies, after school events, right? Catching a ride with strangers, becoming too trusting of people that you recently met. And we're talking about out in the public, you all, right? We're not talking about online, but we're talking when you are out and about, out in public places, looking down at your cell phone the entire time and not paying attention to your surroundings. You all, this has gotten a lot of people your age caught up in situations, again, with some of them losing their lives and some of them lives being changed for the rest of their lives, right? Catching an Uber or Lyft and not sharing your ride information with a trusted friend or family member, failing to confirm that the information on your phone matches the vehicle information of your Uber is huge, because we have younger and younger children riding Ubers and Lyfts today than ever before. So this is vital information, you all, that can save your life. And had one college student knew that up north, you all, she would still be living. She wasn't paying attention to the driver and a car stopped in front of her. She got into a car that did not even match her Uber, you all. Had she had this one little piece of information, she would have easily been alert, paying attention, not glued to her phone, you all, and her life would still be here. So these are things that I'm telling you that you all need to make sure it becomes number one, because again, there are so many dangers for you all right now lurking online, as well as outside when you leave your homes. So using drug and alcohol, we talked about that. It lower your defenses. Now you're sliding into cars and doing different things with people that you don't even know that you would never do. Again, drugs and alcohols, you all, it removes your safety sensors, you all, and it opens you up for a hit that can take your life or can change your life. Trusting and going along with a bad decision of a friend that puts your life in danger. We talked about that. And that is something that a lot of teenagers deal with. That is something that a lot of them end up getting caught up with. They don't want to go with their friends. They always say, I shouldn't have done that, and they end up doing it. So it's very important that you all listen to these different skills, begin to pick up on these different safety habits, so you can live a long and fruitful life. We want to see you all enjoy your adulthood, but a lot of kids don't make it there because they made one decision, you all, that changed the rest of their lives. So second guessing yourself, if it doesn't feel right, you all, it's not right. I'm not playing with my life. If you're in a situation, it don't sound right, it don't look right, I'm not doing it, I'm not going, period. And this is what I want you all to start walking in, unknowing, saying, no, I'm going to make sure I'm okay, because it's my responsibility. I'm not with my parents right now. One bad decision can change the rest of your life.
This is a story that's hard to tell, but it's one that needs to be told. It's about what happened to two local women when they were barely teenagers. At the ages of 12 and 13, their innocence was stolen. They were forced into sex trafficking. This is a problem here in our city in Jacksonville. Statistics show our city is third in the state for human trafficking. The women you're about to meet are survivors.
I realize being here will bring up so much emotion.
Sometimes when you don't know what to say, a hug says enough.
We all tried to protect each other, but
we did the best we could.
It's been 20 years since these two Jacksonville women stood outside this apartment complex.
My memories of what happened here is a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, and being raped repeatedly.
Raped.
Tatiana Yoguez and Nicole McCall are sex trafficking survivors. This didn't happen to them in some bigger city or a different state. It all took place right here in Jacksonville at multiple locations around town.
This is where we were first brought to when we were kidnapped.
They say they were taken from the south side of Jacksonville at the ages of 12 and 13 and driven to this motel off Lane Avenue on the city's west side.
And we didn't have our clothes, so even if we attempted to run out of the room, we would have been naked.
To understand their story better and how this all happened, we need to go back to a cold day in January. The year was 2002, and these three friends, Tatiana, Nicole, and Jessica, were walking home after spending some time at the mall earlier in the day.
It was a nice, quiet neighborhood, never any trouble in the area.
But trouble was waiting for them when three young men drove up in a car.
We decided to get in the car with them. They said they'd take us home, and we trusted them.
When they got into that car, Tatiana says their attitudes changed. The men said they weren't taking them home.
At that point, we realized we made a bad decision. We all looked at each other, and it was just like, what do we do now?
The women say they were brought to this motel.
It's kind of hard seeing it. Because it's almost like reliving it in a sense.
And what happened next is something they will never forget.
As soon as we got through the door, he told us to strip down. And he took our clothes from us. He took everything that we had, he took from us.
After that, they say they were forced to take pills and drink alcohol. They were just children and helpless.
We didn't have a choice whether we wanted to take them or not. It was, here's these pills, wash it down with this. And it was alcohol.
Yeah, it was Hennessy. I remember the smell and just the taste and everything. And then, he also gave us cocaine. And so he just forced us to do these drugs.
From there, men started coming into the room, taking turns raping the young girls. For almost a month, they lived this life. They lived this nightmare.
We pleaded with him for him to let us go. We're 12, 13, and 14. We won't tell, just let us go. And he had no empathy. He had no care. It doesn't matter. I don't care how old you are, you're with me now.
While they were being held captive, their families were searching.
There was a missing persons report for all three of us.
There were flyers everywhere, all over Jacksonville.
From this motel to strip clubs to homes to apartments.
This is just another place where we were trafficked.
The young girls held out hope that they would be able to escape. But as each day went by, that hope faded.
I thought we were going to die there. I thought that was just going to be, I thought he was probably going to just use us up and then kill us.
That was until one day when one of the men watching them realized how young they were and felt bad about their situation.
He threw clothes on the ground and just opened up that back door, and he was giving us that eye, get out while you can. This is your opportunity. So we looked at each other, we took the opportunity, we threw them shirts on, and we just ran out.
After escaping, they were reunited with their families, and you would think their story would have a happy ending, but that's not what happened.
We weren't treated that great from officials, so we were treated as though it was
runaways.
We were
that's how we were treated.
Promiscuous runaways.
Yeah.
The girls said they were given little resources or help for what they had been through and were sent back to school.
I attempted suicide when I got back home. I tried to take all my mom's pills that were in her medicine cabinet.
As adults in their 30s, they're now healing.
While I was in therapy, I started to learn more about myself and what I had experienced. And then I realized that I was, in fact, a sex trafficking victim. And then I shared it with Tatiana, and I was like, you know what? We fall under that. We were victims.
That healing, now in the form of a book they wrote, sharing their life story to help others.
It wasn't my idea to want to write it. Because I was no, who's going to want to hear this, But Tatiana was always just a writer, just love writing. And so she was like, our story needs to be told. And I was like, you're right, our story does need to be told.
Their story has now been told, but tears still continue to fall, and those might be words the heart can't say. And as for Jessica, you see her picture here. The third girl who was kidnapped and released with them was tragically murdered years later. Their main trafficker, he was also murdered after serving some time in jail. Tatiana is now a survivor advocate with the Dolores Bar Weaver Policy Foundation. Nicole also works with a number of nonprofits devoted to human and sex trafficking, and they both help with law enforcement training. And parents, they tell me a lot of sex trafficking today is happening online. That's where young girls and boys are first groomed. And you can read their advice right now in this story on our website, firstcoastnews.com, and in the First Coast News app.
So I want you all to think about that. They had one decision that they made that day that changed their lives, you all. Innocent. Their innocence was stolen and taken. Now, just think about this. Had they received this information, it would have at least been one of them that said, oh no, I'm not getting in the car with a stranger. All they needed was one to say, absolutely not, to stand and go the opposite way. That could have encouraged the other two to make the same decision. But again, this is why we're doing this, because we want you to be that one to say, absolutely not. I'm not getting in the car with strangers, right? None of that makes sense. So again, can boys be victims of sex trafficking? Absolutely. Girls are not the only victims. Girls are the largest percentage of victims, but boys are victims as well. This is a story out of St. Petersburg, Florida, back in 2019, right here in our backyard, you all, right here where we live in South Florida and moving up towards North Florida area. But two teenage boys, ages 16, 17, were held captive over 1 year by 7 subjects now. We're talking about a year they were missing. Forced as sex slaves. These are 2 little boys, right? One of the boys lived in the area and was lured through social media, right? We talk about that. You all have access to social media, right? The other victim was lured through a video game app called Discord. Again, wherever you like to play on social media, you all, there are people there lurking and waiting for an opportunity. The second victim was from Louisiana. Boys were promised a better life and picked up by the men. Again, they were captives for 1 year. Sex trafficking, you all have to understand why it happens so much. It's over $150 billion that are made from sex trafficking per year. So I want you to think about how big that is. That's why it's such a tough thing, crime to solve, and get those numbers down, because money is attached to it. If you think about it, if I'm holding somebody captive, right, and I'm making them do things with their body, have sex and all these different, deplorable, really bad acts with their body, and I get paid for it, you all, I can use that person over and over and over and make so much money off of them. So that's why sex trafficking is so much. They make so much money is moving through this, billions of dollars per year. So I want you to think about all those victims per year. A quick case out of Miami. The suspect, I'm gonna call her Kate for short. The facts, October 20th, 2016, right? It's not just men who are lurking and seeking for you all. Women are lurking and seeking as well. Well, Kat was arrested October 28, 2016. She ended up, a 13-year-old female victim ran away from home in Tamarack, Florida, here in our backyard, you all, because she was bored. She ran away because she was bored. I want you all to think about that. How many of you all have been bored at home and you need something to do, right? She chose to run away. She met Seymour, which is Kat Seymour, and Seymour put her in a motel room, posted nude photos of her on Backpage.com, you all, promoting prostitution, right? So these are the facts. The 13-year-old victim told the police that she was sexually active with over 100 men. I want you all to think about that. She was 13 years old, ran away from home because she was bored. She didn't run away from home because she was being abused or about to lose her life. And teenagers make decisions like this every single day. That's why this is so important that you all receive this information today, because it can save your life and prevent you from going through life-altering situations that you can never take back. Just like the story we just saw, right? We know that 20 years later, 17 years later, those women that you just saw crying on that screen wish that they would have said no, but they got in the car and it changed the rest of their lives. So again, she told police she slept with over 100 men during the time that she was held at a motel, right? So Kat, she ended up being charged. Well, she actually charged the men $180 each when they slept with her. Remember, I told you this is about money, you all, and you can use that person over and over and over to create more money, right? But she kept most of the money. They end up charging Kat. She was convicted and she was charged with life imprisonment for human trafficking. So she cannot get out of prison. She is in there for the rest of her life, you all. So what are some options if I need help, or a friend of mine need help? You need to make sure you're not scared to reach out, because again, you can be that person's savior. You could be that in the middle of that person living, or you could be in the middle of that person losing their lives. Tell a trusted adult, tell someone you trust who can help you help that person or get that person help or seek help for that person. If you're dealing with certain situations or you're dealing with someone who you've connected with online and you just feel in your heart after hearing this presentation, this sounds like this guy or this girl that I have been talking to, you need to cut all ties. If you're making connections with the words that are coming out of my mouth and it's impacting the thoughts that you're having right now, you need to cut ties, right? You need to reach out to a trusted adult, whether that be a family member, someone you trust, someone who you're connected to, a mentor, and you need to have a conversation with them, right? Because it's about saving your life. That's it. You need to, some people, you have the opportunity to report it to the police with some situations that are going on. It may be a resource officer at your school or college campus. If you want to remain anonymous, they have opportunities for you to call or text the human trafficking 24-hour hotline. You're also able to send text messages, which is on the next slide. I'll be able to give that to you, and you all can put that information in your phone just in case. They're open 24 hours a day, you all. If you're being held against your will, you saw what happened with those women. They were kidnapped at the age of 12, 13, and 14, right? They're like, we don't know what to do. What do you do if someone is holding you against your will, right? So I always say, try to remain calm so that you can think through the situation. Because if you are freaking out, there's no way you're going to be able to think of a positive way for you to escape or find a way of escape if you're freaking out, passing out, and you're not really up. But you need to make sure you stay up. You need to make sure you're listening to everything that is going on. You need to make sure that you're alert, you're looking around, you're looking at numbers, you are just observing everything around you because you are looking for your opportunity to escape. Well, how do traffickers profit and what's the estimate of annual profits? We talked about that, billions of dollars a year, you all. And this is the drive behind what they are doing. Sexual exploitation, I told you all, it's 99 billion, over that, well, over 150 with everything, but sexual exploitation is number one. So I want you all to keep that in the front of your minds. Human Trafficking Resources, National Human Trafficking Resource Center. You all can take a screenshot of this information with your phone, save it in your phone, right? If you want to have it access to text them, you can text them, send them information, different things that are going on that you believe is attached to human trafficking. You have that opportunity to take down this information and send a text message or call the number, depending on whatever situation you're in. But I always advise you, reach out to that trusted person, adult, someone who you know can give you really good advice when you're dealing with certain situations. So I really hope that you all learned a lot from this presentation. Again, I am Big Sister Key, and I want you all to connect with me. I want you all to connect with me on social media platforms, right? I'm in the process of, working on some information to release some information that is for your good, right? It's only a push from God to say everything that you have in you, I need you to get it out to them. It's not for me, you all. Again, I was in law enforcement for over 17 years, and everything that is in me, I need to pour it out, and I need to just give it out to you all so you can be empowered with the same information that I was empowered with. So again, take a screenshot of this screen and go on your social media, go on and connect with me. And it's in the process. I'm in the process of building up and, working on some projects to release to you all on social media, because I want to stay in your ear. I want you to, have a prosperous childhood as well as a prosperous adult life. And you can only do that if you have these tools in front of you, so you're able to make a really good decision to stay safe. You are your first line of defense. So I would love for you all to reach out, connect with me on social media, and let's just have a conversation. Tell me what you thought about the presentation. Tell me what you liked about the presentation. We can have a conversation about it. So I'm going to end this and I'm going to open it up for questions. And if you all have any questions, you have me. I'm here. I'm for you. I want to give you what I have. And I will answer any questions that you all have. So thank you all. If you have any questions, the floor is open. Anything you want to ask about, anything that you're unsure about, it's open now for you to have a discussion with Big Sister Key. I'm here. Do we have any questions? Anything you want to text? I know some people are shy. You may have something that you're thinking about and you're like, you know what, let me just drop it in the chat. The chat is open for you. All right, I don't have any questions right now. So that means I may be receiving someone on social media.
Hi, sis. This is Gerald. Awesome
Hey, Gerald.
presentation. I have one of the sisters asked, was this being recorded? And are we able to maybe present this to, if we have, just send it out to people that we know that we're not able to be on today?
It is recorded on Facebook. So I'll have to see, if they're on Facebook, that will probably be a way that you can share it through the platform. But yeah, we can try it that way to see. And you can just let them know when I, just check and make sure.
Great,
that
thank
okay?
you. Yes, awesome, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you all for attending the seminar tonight or today. And again, the goal is to educate you. The goal is to empower you. The goal is to bring awareness to your face. The goal is to give you the accurate information that you need to make informed decisions. The goal is to put you in a place of empowerment where your guards are constantly up and you're in a place where you can make a decision that can extend your life, no matter who you're around or what you're around. But we want to use this platform to empower you to say, I'm not doing that because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel right. I'm not smoking it. I'm not drinking it. That's not what I'm going to do. So again, thank you all for standing with me, coming and joining in. And I just look forward to connecting with you all on social media platforms, as well as our next seminar. And that will be on the platform as well. So again, make sure you all connect to us on social media, and we'll be more than happy to make sure you get that information. All right, you all have the most amazing day. And remember, you are your first line of defense. Okay, Big Sister Key is signing off. You all have an amazing day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome job.
Thank you.